Harvey Alston, I've had a chance to spend quite a bit of time with Harvey here this afternoon. He's a fascinating gentleman. I think you're really going to enjoy him. His career has spanned positions from head football coach of the Columbus East High School in Ohio to assistant director of student financial aid at the university level. And as an educator, he's taught English, biology, health, life sciences, and math classes. He is a tremendous horticulturist and landscape person. He just showed me a magazine article he does on a regular basis about gardening, and a fascinating individual. He has received recognition and awards from groups and organizations, including the Ohio House of Representatives, the City of Columbus, the DECA Hall of Fame, received the Ohio High School Athletic Association's Ethics and Integrity Award, and then an award near and dear to my heart. He is a Kentucky Colonel. He's been commissioned as a Kentucky Colonel, and that's a huge honor. Harvey's enterprise is called Best Inc., and it's based on his philosophy and the book entitled Be the Best. He is the coordinator for the Ohio High School Athletic Association Student Leadership Conference, and he told me that just next week, I think he told me, he would have 1,600 kids, I think in Columbus. He'll correct me if I'm wrong, but for that leadership conference. So he's really very involved with youth leadership and youth ethics. And he wanted me to be sure, and I had to write it down on his resume. He said, Mac, you need to tell these folks, they're running meetings all over the country. He said, I want them to know that I have spoken in 4,000 different cities across America, including Alaska and Hawaii. He said, I know a little bit about travel, and I know these folks are doing business all over the country. So I've really enjoyed getting to know him, and I want you all to get to know your speaker for this afternoon, Mr. Harvey Alston.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Hello, hello. Just down just one more notch, too. Test. There we go. How you doing? Come on now. How you doing? Love it. I know that you sent out to set meetings and so forth. I'm from Ohio. In Ohio, we have the greatest amount of roller coasters in the world. Anybody heard of Cedar Point? Put your hands up in the air. Cedar Point? Cedar Point? Come on, everybody put your hand up in the air. Recognize that. Now in Cedar Point, when you go there, they got the roller coaster rides. How many of you have been on roller coasters in your lifetime? How many are no longer roller coaster riders? Join me in that too, I believe that. But at Cedar Point, when they have the roller coaster rides, you get there, the first thing they ask you to do is when you get on the ride is to put your hands up in the air. So imaginary, my meeting planners, let's put our hands up in the air, grab the safety belt, lock it down. Now at this point, if you realize you got on the ride by mistake, it's too late, because you're going for a ride whether you like it or not. And then they go, and then so just imagine that you're in that seat and you're chugging up the hill. Lean back in your chair, not too far, because I haven't paid the insurance bill yet. Let's go back a little bit. Chugga. Come on, everybody. Chugga. You get up to the top, put your hands in the air. Come on. Oh, come on. Whoa. One more time. Whoa. Loop-de-loop. Whoa. And about this time when you think you're going to get off of it, chugga. It's going backwards. Chugga. Then here we go again. Come on. Whoa. Loop-de-loop. Whoa. Corkscrew. Whoa. Lost you on that, didn't I? You've already thrown up. And if you don't throw up on the person next to you, and that voice that you come off that ride, you're going, never again in this lifetime will I ever get on a ride like this. Think about this as the paradigm of your life. Don't you remember those days when you were young, ambitious, going out into the world? You wanted to be on every roller coaster ride, economically and job-wise, that there was. If somebody said, do you want to do this job? You said, how much does it pay? and I'm ready to be involved in it. And there you were, chugga, 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 chugga. But life has it. When you get to the top of the hill, you realize maybe that's not the ride that you wanted to be on. And then all of a sudden, a twist and a turn, huh? What about being a meeting planner? Oh, the economy's going good one day. Next day, somebody changes the rules and regulations, adds more stuff to it. And then you get caught up in the swirl of things. And then all of a sudden, when you think that you were doing well, you look around and you say to yourself, why did I ever bite off this? Why am I getting involved? I don't ever want to do this. But then you realize that when you get off the ride, there's a line, a serpentine line, with people standing with tickets, waiting for you to fail, waiting to get on the same ride you just got off of. And their attitude's going to be different, and it's going to be delightful for them, and they'll go through that same ride of life. That's what we're about, isn't it, huh? Doing rides, changing lives, getting to the point where we discussed it one day, and then all of a sudden the magic happens, and things turn out exactly like they were supposed to be, and the magic happens, and you know, hey, I'm ready to do this battle again. But it's about our attitudes. It's about the things that we do that change everybody around us. It's how we approach it. And I've got that formula for success right now. I've got it. Put this mic down. I've got it right here. And I'm going to pick you because you're the only verbal one here today. Come on up here, okay? I want you, since you don't know anybody here, there's 5 cards. I want you to hold one for yourself, Lamont. And I want you to go pick out 5 people out of the audience. 4 people. Bring them up here. Give them a card. Let me shuffle them a little bit so they'll be all in kind of different orders. You won't be looking? Okay. There you go. Shuffle a bit. All right, Lamont, you're on your own. Lamont's going to pick you out. 4 different people. He's going to keep a card for himself. Come on up, man. There you go. Da-da-da-da-da. Since they don't have any music, I'll sing for you while you come up. Da-da-da. How about that? Yeah. Get a little bit. Don't want to send this crowd to sleep. I do a little Luther. Here and now. Oh, I'm sorry. All right. Good job. Give Lamont a big round of applause. There you go. I like that. And the thing about it, you know how to get up here? Where's he going? Oh, phone. Can't go anywhere without them doggone phones, can we, huh? I will wait on you, though. Come on. Yeah, that's all right. Lamont, do you like this? I give these same 5 cards to 5 intelligent little 5th grade kids. 5 cards, 5 little intelligent kids. By now, the 5 little kids have spelled something. Then they're not dyslexic. And now I know why I have problems with meeting planners. All right, there we go. Give them a round of applause, would you please? Does anybody recognize why they had a little problem with something so simple? Let me explain it to you. When you are on the opposite side of the card, you are looking over top. So as you look over top the cards, you see them as you would see them in a mirror. So they spelled it backwards. They weren't dyslexic, but it was their viewpoint from where they saw the problems. When we are working with clients, clients see the problem. Quit playing with your pee. This is not that kind of adult group, okay? All right. Behave yourself, young man. So when you look over top, there's always one. When you look over the cards, you see the problem in reverse. And when we look over at a problem, the client sees it one way, we see it another way. But it's still the same problem, but it's just a different viewpoint. So that's why it took them a little while to get it. But this does spell, and ma'am, what does it spell for me?
Happy.
Stand up for me, would you please? What's your name? Lacey. Beck. You're not very energetic. That's the sorriest happy I've ever heard a person give, you know. Come on now, we can do better than that. I said, what does that spell? It spells happy. And when people say happy, they usually say it with some kind of enthusiasm, like they really want to be a part of the program and be here today. So I'm going to ask you again, ma'am, what does that spell?
Happy.
Give her a round of applause. Now that's the kind of inner strength that we want to have. That kind of spirit that you want to put on, that happy formula. Lamont, turn the first card around for me, please. The H stands for stands for what, audience? Stands for the heart. Learn to love what you do. If you don't like what you're doing, quit. Somebody else will do it for you and probably do it better than you. So if you don't like what you're doing, change what you're doing in life. Don't go around being miserable and making other people miserable. Love. And then each step of the way, use it not as an ending of life, but a stepping stone to where you want to get. And if you do that, you're going to be happy. And people will want to be around you when they see you smile. Where's my ladies from the dentist thing? There you go, with the big smiles, you know. They just smile. What you do? We're in dentistry. Smile this that big, showing all them teeth, you know. I said, go girl, that's all right. And that's when you love what you're doing, people can see it and spot it in you, and they see this inner feeling, this inner peace that you have. That's what we need to do, to learn how to love what we're doing. Love yourself, love your job, do it better than anybody else. My next card, turn around. A stands for? Attitude. How many of you all work with somebody that has a bad attitude? If you brought them with you, don't point at them. You know what I'm talking about. No matter what the day is like, what the weather's like, it's always the opposite with them. And you go to ask them, how you doing? Until you realize who you ask. You're going by, hi, how you doing? Hi. And you look and you see them, hi, hi. And you want to suck it back in. I didn't mean to ask you. I was at a workplace and I'm always early. I got there early. A lady was sitting in the break room by herself. I ran in all fired up. I said, hey, hey, hey. How you doing? She said, well, I haven't been feeling well lately. She said, they gave me that flu shot, made me get the flu shot. Never had the flu before. Got the flu shot, sick as I can be. I've been coughing up phlegm, and I'm going, whoa. Why did I ever ask you how you doing? Now, I don't remember her name, but I remember the face. And I guarantee you, I'm never in my lifetime going to ask that lady how you doing ever again. That's for sure, huh? My next letter, turn around. P stands for pride. Pride is what it's about. We've lost that in job performance. Everybody wants to get paid. Nobody wants to do it exactly right. People want to come along and say, well, I can do that job for you. And it's always wishy-washy. It's like you have to stand over them. What happened to us with that pride and dignity? Booker T. Washington said it well. If a job is once begun, never leave it till it's done. Be that labor, whether it's great or small, learn to do it well or not at all. That's what life is about. Grab it by the rings, ride with it. Do your job to the best of your ability. If you fail, so what? It's no big deal. Get up and try it again and give it the best that you got. And when we do, we'll get the pride. Pride is my acronym also for personally responsible in developing excellence. I'll say it again for you if you want to write it down. Personally responsible in developing excellence. Each and every day, trying to be a little bit better than you were the day before. As Emma Lagasse would say, bam, let's take it up another notch. Add some accoutrements to your life. My next letter, turn around, Donald. There you go. I love you, man. P stands for? People. We say we like people, but we really don't, do we? Isn't it amazing? I taught biology and English, and in biology you learn that basically we're all so similar that it's only this little DNA thing they found recently as far as time concerns that we separate each other on. Think about it. There's not a person here today that can live without air. food, water, nourishment. We're all the same. We want to be loved and taken care of, all the same. But what separates us? That DNA. Oh, the color of your eyes are different, your hair, where you live, where you roam, where you go. It's all controlled by just a little particle, a part of you. But no, we fight about those things also. Where we live, what we do, height, size, and religion. So today, Lamont, you're going to be my taskmaster. Yes, sir. You're going to wave your card across the audience. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, Lamont. You just got too excited here, man. Lamont, you're going to wave your card across. I'm going to be like Sanford, so Lamont, you big dummy, come on. You remember that program? Look, all right. I'm going to do that to you. All right, here we go, Lamont. Wave your card across. Wait a minute. Wave your card across the audience, magically changing everybody into the same shade of color. Very good, Lamont. I like that. All right. Are you ready, ma'am? You got your name tag way down there. Rita, okay. All right. Are you ready? I want you to wave your card across the aisle. Give everybody the same color of eyes. Yeah. I can't see your name tag. What are you? Oh, Deborah, you left your name tag. We're going to punish you for that. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Deborah, here we go. You've got the hard one. I want you to give everybody the same religion. Go for it. Wong. That was that deep Southern religion at Baptist. She started slow, so you can tell. All right. I would give you something to do, but I'm afraid of you. So I'm just going to wait. So now, what we're going to do is if we give everybody the same color of skin, the same color of eyes, the same deity, and we worship and pray in the same manner, now do you think we can all just get along? No. We'll fight about different stuff. Tall people would unite. We would build shelves, put stuff up high. Where short people wouldn't be able to reach things. Big guys would block off the lines, the buffets, and donut shops. Eat up all the food and starve little skinny people to death. People with a lot of hair would unite, and they would make fun of people who are bald. I know I can count on you. He said that with such joy. See what it is? Just the little things of life that we fight about, and the big issues we don't care about, but it's the small ones that we do. If we're going to get along in this world and we're going to make a big difference, we're going to have to learn how to like each other and even our smallest little differences. And my last one, turn it around for me, please. Would you, sir? The last one is the Y, and it stands for you. You make a difference. You are the game changer. The business that you're in, you're going to make some people happy, and you're going to make some people unhappy. But if you can make more people happy in what you do, then that's how you're going to succeed, and that's what the happy formula is about. But you can do it. Are we changing? Does the world change around us? Yes, it has. When they talked to and they gave the introduction, see, a lot of people don't know. I lived through all those changing times. I saw as a young man at my grandmother's house in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, water fountains that said, over on this side, white only, colored side, over here, colored only. And the same water line was feeding both water fountains. How crazy in life. But think about this, as a young man, somebody telling you, you couldn't do something because of the color of your skin. I've got friends who are my age who are still mad at society and hate people because somebody said something against them. But we've changed, haven't we? We had Martin Luther King come along, civil rights movement. We moved forward. And then what do we do as people? The pendulum swings, and we have Trayvon Martin, and we have other movements moving, and we move backwards again. And that's what's going to happen to the Me Too movement. All of a sudden, the Me Too movement, which I'm proud of, moved forward, but it's going to reach an apex, and it's going to start to swing backwards again in time. Folks, time changes the way we affect and the way we work with people, and it has for me. When I first started teaching school in 1968, the high school I taught was fully segregated. It was a segregated high school, all black at that particular time. That was 50 years ago. Have we changed? Yes, we have. But we are still as segregated today because of charter schools in Columbus, Ohio, as we were in 1968. We've gone a long way, and we've come back around the circle, and we're still the same. But it's up to you. How much of an impact do you want to make? How much of a change can you do? It's up to you. So what is my formula of success? Here it is right now. Learn to do your job, and then do it with all of your heart. Turn that around for me, Lamont. Learn how to change and alter your. Good, turn that around. Let's develop a sense of. Good. Let's learn how to get along with. And make an investment in. Then you can be. Let's give them a big round of applause. Would you please? I'll take your cards from you. Thank you. Thank you, Donald. You're a joy, man. Thank you, Lamont. I really appreciate that. All right, all right. Now, this is what I do best. I like this. People will say, can you move that glass right there so I can have this edge? Thank you. People always ask me about PowerPoints. I do PowerPoints. I got them right here. Lights go out, it's hard. I still got them. Camera stuff won't work. I still got them. That's what I like about it. So what I'm going to do with my PowerPoints, and these are learnable PowerPoints, so if you want to photograph it or if you want to write it down, please do. The ownership of these, when I leave today, the ownership of these quotes will be yours. So the first one is about staying focused on who we are and what we're about. If we stay focused on the job that we came to do, if someone hires you as a meeting planner, then I'm going to use that as an example, then you become the meeting planner. You are not the critic of the organization. You are not the one who's to tell everybody who's supposed to be in what place or their place. You're supposed to plan the meeting and do it. But what happens to us in our society, even workers, they get caught up in little side stuff that has nothing to do with the job that you were hired to do and start complaining about a bunch of stuff that has no meaning. Regular workers in a job, I go there, I see them all the time. I walk in and somebody will tell me, Mr. Alston, I'm working in this place and everybody's got a window. They put me in a cubicle. I don't have a window. I can't see what's going on outside. And I said, not my problem. But you know, you need to talk to the people if that's your problem. People will talk to about not having the right materials, not being in the right place. And then there's people I've gone to, they have office buildings. They'll park their vehicle in their, what they call their own specialized place. They've got a parking place they've designated as theirs, even though it doesn't belong to them. And then get mad if somebody happens to park their vehicle in that same place. Be mad all day long. How many of you have seen somebody driving, texting on their phone, going down the road and swerving to your lane, and then all day long you are mad at them? They didn't hit you. They're going to be crazy. They're going to hit somebody else eventually, but you'll be fussing. I almost got killed today. Person was riding down the road, texting on their phone. They should ban people from that. Now here they have upset your day, and you've gone on and on and on about stuff that has nothing to do with your well-being. Don't let any external forces change your internal force. Don't let anybody's sorrow steal your joy bell. So here I'm going to tell you today what we need to do. Keep this in mind. The main thing is to keep, repeat after me, the main thing is to keep the main thing. All right, I'll say it again for you because some of you are a little tired right now. Say it again. The main thing is to keep the main thing. We talk about honesty and integrity. Today it's pretty hard to do that, isn't it? When it seems like a lot of people in the news, the television, what goes on, they just seem to tell stories, or as we call fake news or the alternative truth. I like those that have just come up. Those are going to be in the dictionary one day. But it's a bad thing. Martha Stewart went to jail. Martha Stewart went to jail because she did what, audience? Inside trading. I heard that very loud from over here, but that's not necessarily so. She did inside trading. But when they asked Martha Stewart, do you have any knowledge, before grand jury, any knowledge of the inside trading? She said, no, I don't. Now think about this now. You come before a grand jury, 9 times out of 10 when they call you in, they already got the answers before them. So they ask you a question, did you have any knowledge? If you say yeah, well, are they going to punish you? Yeah. Would they probably put you in jail? Probably not. Find you, maybe take some money from you. But that's been the worst case of it. But they got her on the technicality that she lied to the grand jury, so they put her in jail for lying to the grand jury. Let me give you another example. Marion Williams won 4 gold medals in the 4x4 Olympics for the United States. When she won those, we always test the winners for drugs. We don't test the losers. We test first, second, and third place. Losers, they weren't doing the right drugs. So we test the winner. So she goes before the grand jury. They ask her, did you ever take any testosterone or any muscle-enhancing stuff? She said no. They asked her 4 times. Come on, folks. If they got the drug test right in front of them and they ask you the question, what should you say? The truth. But she didn't tell the truth, so they put her in jail for lying to the grand jury. These are some examples I want to give you because sometimes in life we're going to make decisions that might not be the popular decision. We may make a mistake. But if somebody asks us, did we do this? You raise your hand and say, it was me. I did it. It was my fault. Take the punishment for it. It won't be as bad as you lying about it, ruining your business, ruining your reputation because you were not honest when asked the right questions. So I always tell, especially my young people, that the only thing that I can ask you to do is be honest with me. If you're honest, we could possibly work it out. But if you're dishonest, I'm going to run from you like there's a fire in the building. So use these words with me. Write these down also. Say with me, it's good to be smart, but it's smarter to be good. Absolutely. Now, some of us are going to complain. How can I do business? I live in Oshkosh, somewhere in the middle of nowhere. How can I do business? Everybody else got business. Their conventions and bureaus are doing well. I live in Picayune, Mississippi. It's not doing well. And I hear it. People are going to complain about your circumstances. What are you going to do? You're going to be a complainer about life? You're going to complain about not having this or having that? What do you want me to do? Play a little violin for you? Oh, we feel so sorry for you. Oh, poor you. Your business is down because you're not. Hey, folks, maybe you think it might be you that's not doing right. Maybe you're not sparing it on. Maybe you're not doing as much as you can. But there's people that are going to complain no matter who they are. And I'm not mad at complainers. I guarantee you. Complainers are responsible for 2 good things in this world. What are they? Country western music and the blues. Now, for my southern folks, the blues, we're always singing about being hungry, about being poor, and not having any money. Lou Rawls made millions of dollars, wasn't ever poor singing this song, but he sang a song called Tobacco Road. I was born in a shack. Only clothes I had were on my back. Tobacco Road. He sang that song over and over. People say, sing it, Lou Rawls, and paid him millions of dollars to sing it. But he didn't know anything about that Tobacco Road, okay, to tell you the truth. But that's how he made money. Now, if you don't think I know country western, okay, you may never want to take another look. I taught at Fisk University in Nashville, Tennessee, the home of the twang. Twang, yep. I'm down there, and every morning they get on the radio and sing them sad songs. There was one program they had, you could dedicate songs if you wanted to. So a lady called in, she said, I'd like to dedicate a song for my 40th wedding anniversary. And the man said, well, ma'am, what's the name of the song? She said, I rather don't know. But it goes like this. If you really love me, you'd have married somebody else. Look at him looking, yeah. That's the way life is. I'm going to tell you a short story about that song in Nashville that I learned. There was a young songwriter, loved this woman with all of his heart. She was so pretty. She wrote him one of those Dear John letters, said, you're a creep, I don't like you, get out of my life. And he just was heartbroken. So he wrote her a little note back for her to find, went to the 5th Street Bridge and pinned it on the post. And the note read, I love you with all of my heart. I can't go on living without you. Good night, Irene. Now that song is a popular song in the 1950s that came out. And the guy who found that note was a young songwriter. He finished that and made it into a song and made $750,000 off a man's suicide note. That's how that came about. But let me move you from Nashville all the way to Detroit. And in Detroit, Motown music, the Temptations were there. Now, you may know about this, Lamont, but the Temptations had a #1 song. It was written by the drummer. The drummer was married to this beautiful woman. She ran away with the saxophone player. And before he blew his brains out, you'll understand this song now, he wrote this song, Sunshine, Blue Skies. Please go away. My love has found another and gone astray. With her went my sunshine. She left me with this pain. Oh, how I wish it would rain. #1 song by the Temptations. So why am I telling you these two stories? Tragic stories. A songwriter in Nashville, a band member in Motown up in Detroit. Because the next time one of your coworkers starts complaining to you about their life, I want you to whip out a piece of paper and pencil, write it down. If you got to listen to that crap, you might as well get rich. So say with me, if you don't have the best of everything, then make the best of everything you have. Talk about living on the edge with this technology. And Lamont talked about using hashtags as far as the conference is concerned. But we've moved into a different realm of life as far as technology is concerned. I'm looking at some of my fellow age members that are here that might be close to my age. And if you are, or maybe even a little bit older, you remember the first cell phones. They were called, where's my smiley teeth ladies, where'd they go? They left. I was going to pick on them. I'm glad they left. I'll pick on some younger people. Yeah. And so you remember those first phones, don't you? The bag phones. Anybody remember the bag phone? Remember the bag phone? Oh, yeah. Now, the reason they called it a bag phone because they didn't make batteries as good as they do now. See, the batteries were like a motorcycle battery. So you had to carry it in a motorcycle bag case and carry the phone around. That's why they called it a bag phone. And then later on, they had one of those antenna phones where you pull up, you could get Japan, talk to China, just pull up that antenna, look like you waving a car. They had those. Yeah, Motorola, that's what it was. Yeah. And then they came to flip phone. How many of you still got your flip phones? Nobody's going to admit it. I love the flip phone. The only reason I love the flip phone, because you can't accidentally call anybody. When it's flip closed, it's flip closed. You know, you got the phones now, and many of you do, and I see a lot of you wear glasses. I don't know why you have, you know, the caller ID, because when you go to caller ID, you got to fumble for your glasses first. And then when you do pick it up, it's already gone into voicemail. So the thing is worthless out there. But the technology is different. The computers that we have nowadays are going to change the way we deal with clients and everybody else in this world. I deal a lot with schools, and so I'm on the school board for 2 school districts. One is very rich and very fast growing. The other is very poor and out in the rural area, but the same problems. So the Upper Valley JVS, which is out in an all rural white area, farm area, Olentangy School District, and the rich suburbs of town, and also my own former alma mater in a black school called East High School in Columbus, Ohio. But sitting on these boards, you learn a lot of things because you learn where technology is moving, and most of the boards are behind what we're trying to get and understand as customers and clients out in the world. If we start looking at our business and say to ourselves, I want you to be business-minded as far as the future is concerned, and I want each and every one of you to think about your business plan as a deuce and a quarter. Anybody remember what a deuce and a quarter was? Electric 225. So if it's a 225, I'm talking about 2025 business plan. So just say to yourself, I want a brand new deuce and a quarter in 2025. And that's a brand new car, a brand new theme, a brand new goal for yourself. What are some of the goals that I need to establish for myself? I need to find my own social identity, and I need to be present on all social identities through the social identity that I created. And what do I mean by that? Is everything that you say, everything that you print, everything that you put out there should be your identity of who you are, and speak so loudly about who you are that no matter what anybody says, they can recognize what you do and what you say from the very beginning. We are developing a new type of clientele. Kids that are in school, we find out that they fail from high school to college. A majority of them fail because we haven't taught them to be independent learners. So what we have to do is go back and evaluate, how are we losing people? We're losing them because we don't teach them to be independent searchers or independent researchers, to use the tools that are out there, the search webs. They go out on Google's, and all the other ones that are out there to search to find out who you are, or to find out how, I wanted to say ask and Bing also, okay? And to find out what's going on in the world. So we teach the kids to learn how to be independent studiers, independent researchers. They'll do better their freshman and their sophomore year in school. Schools that are advancing, that have money, are eliminating books in schools. We spend $4,000 on every child from 9 through 12 just to provide them with a book that's already outdated when it's been published. So how do we ban that? What we do is get rid of the books, and we gave every kid at that particular time a laptop. Now we can give them the tablets. Tablets will cost us about $225. Nice figure again. $225 per tablet. We're going to save over $3,750 on every child in school just because we give them a tablet. So we go to cloud technology. Any lessons that you have, any materials that you have, we put it in the cloud technology. You can go up and you can pull that information down, download it to your apps, and use it as you want to go. So now the curriculum is going to be set for years. We set to tell the teachers, this is what you're going to teach. Here's your test you're going to have. Here's a period of things you're going to study. They all have to be accomplished by a certain time. They're all up on the apps. So you think technology is just ending there? No, folks, it's just beginning there. Each child will be given an address, email address that's sponsored by the school, firstname, lastname.com, .org, the school. They will be given electronic wristbands, and I'm wearing one right now that I think is just brilliant from the hotel. This little electronic wristband allows me to get in every door and get into my own door of my room just by waving the wristband across the doors. So even in this hotel that's across the street here, they're eliminating the key system and even the wireless key system. It'll be on these wristbands. Each kid will have his own wristband with his identity. When he gets on the bus in the morning and he walks on the bus, it'll read the code and say this kid got on the bus. When he gets off the bus, it'll read and say what time he got off the bus. So we have an electronic record. When he walks through the front door of the school, it will beam him and say he's in school. And if he decides to walk straight through the building and out the back door, it'll know that he went out the back door, and it will call the parents automatically to say your child is no longer in school. Let's take it up one more notch for you, okay? We're going to put eyes in the sky in every hallway and classroom. Not the bathrooms, hallways and classrooms. You as a parent will have a code. How many of you have teenagers of your own? How many of you have teenagers? You'll like this. So there it is. You'll have the code. You'll be able to, from home, go on your computer or phone, put your code in, find out what classroom your child should be in, and be able to view them in that classroom. So for those of you who have young ladies that are in class, you'll be able to view the classroom and see if she's dressed like she did when she left home, or if she's looking like a little hoochie mama. Absolutely. So we're taking all the technology to another level, and this technology is going to make us on how we deal with our clients and our meetings and our meeting planners. Today, one of the largest things that I have, the problem I have with people and organizing, getting speakers, is nobody responds anymore to any phone calls nor emails. Today is a procrastinator's dream, because you can say, well, I didn't get that email, or I must have jumped into spam, or don't respond. So I tell you right away, one of the things that you do is in your contact with everybody, you tell them, I'm going to send you an email. You don't have to write me a letter back. All you have to do is say, got it. All right? And when they put on there, they got it, you make sure that you print that part
and put it in your folder, because that's an acknowledgement that they have received the information that you sent them. Without it, you are lost. Without it, you can't confirm. Just because you sent it doesn't mean that I wanted to read it, doesn't mean that I read it, and doesn't mean that I have it. So get on the business end of things. Learn how to step out on the cutting edge of all the technology we have. Find out how to use your Facebook for your business. Find out how to use LinkedIn. Find out how to use every search engine there is that's out there to promote who you are and what you're about. Take photos of every one of your events. Put them on Flickr. Put them on Pinterest. And then you will be able to find and see what events look like, or the setup of the convention centers, or the setup of what you're doing. If you're not doing that, you're not getting on the cutting edge. If you're not taking advantage of all the electronics we have, you are ruining your own business, and you have nobody to blame but yourself for the lack of intensity that you do, because it's going to be an individual effort that you have. So repeat these words after me. If you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much space. You like that, don't you, huh? I want everybody to stand up for a minute. Stand up. I want you to point your finger at somebody. I don't care who. Point them. Oh, you want to point your finger at me, huh? Come on out here. Come on out here. What's your name, sir? Steve. Back up a little bit, Steve, with me. Come on this way, so everybody can see. Steve, do that. Point your finger at me again. Point it at me. Now, when Steve points this finger at me, Steve has one finger pointing at me, and Steve has three more going right back at him, okay? So if Steve says, hey, I called Harvey, but Harvey didn't call me back. Hold that finger up there again. How many times did you call me? Did you email me? Did you text me? Did you send me a different type of note so you can say to me, you can't lie about this one. I found you, and I sent you some information some kind of way. See, that's where you eliminate those excuses. You point at me, hey, I may be your boss. You say, I don't like him. He's a terrible boss. Well, you may not be the best employee I ever had either, okay? And I might have to fire you. So what we do is when we point our finger at somebody else, we have to look and see if we took all the steps that were necessary to eliminate the problems that we have. And when we do, then we can be successful. But a lady, when I was teaching school, I should have been fired for this probably, but I wasn't. She came in my office. She said, I can't stand my kids. They're rotten. I said, ma'am, it's your fault. She said, what do you mean it's my fault? It's your fault. There's 6 billion people in the world. Out of all the billions of people in the world, you married somebody that got bad DNA. That's why you got bad kids. She said, well, I said, did you go to the family reunion before you married that person? You didn't know. You cut me off? Okay. I said, you known that was a rotten family. You'd have known that the family tree didn't have any branches, but no, you was in love. And now you want to blame it on the kids for turning out like they did. You ever thought it might be your fault? What happens in life, we start blaming other people for our failures and blaming other people for our lack of success. And sometimes we need to take a look at who we are and what we're doing to be successful. Are we making the right decisions? Are we investing too much time on a program that's going to go nowhere for us? Have we reevaluated ourselves to see where we are? Do we have to work just because we live in a place where there's no sunshine? Does it mean that we can't do sunshine events? Ralph Waldo Emerson said back in a lecture in 1875 that if you write a better book or build a better mousetrap than your neighbor, even if you build your house in the woods, the world will make a beaten path to your door. Have you built that better mousetrap? Have you written that better book? Are you building a better program where people will drive by you and drive to somebody else because you haven't done your job? Make them be your first stop, that they stop at your door and knock on it because your reputation deems that it's necessary. So repeat after me. You can't get ahead, trying to get even. We talk about teamwork. And is it teamwork? Yes, it is. When we're here today, you're going to go around this room. Tomorrow, you're going to see different people at different booths, but it's teamwork. Because when you ask a person a question, you're going to develop a relationship, a team. Is this the person I want to work with? Is this the person that I want to be a part of their program? Is this where I want to take my next meeting? Is this where we want to take our convention, our conference? Are we going to work together collectively to be a team? Because teams do win when teams work together. But you're the leader. And if you're the leader of your business, then you have to get that teamwork out of your head because you have to be responsible. You are the coach of your business, not a team member. And as a coach, you've got to make sure that you put each player in their right position and that each player knows their responsibility and their numbers. Women think that sometimes football is stupid or football, I don't understand it. But you know, football, as a football coach, I think it's so simple. You got 100 yards. The middle of the field is called a 50 what? 50-yard line. You got an offense, you got a defense. Now the numbers we give people, the guy who's over the ball and in the center, both on offense and defense, we give him half the numbers that are on the field. We give him the what numbers? Hello, folks, played football. We give him the 50 numbers. You step out a couple more yards this way, and there's a guard. So what numbers do we give him? 60s. 60s, right? You step over one more slot. What's the numbers? 70. You step over one more and you're in 80s, okay? You go to the backfield and you've got 2, 3, 4, and then 0 to 12, right? Quarterbacks. That's in the backfield. So they give you a number, and your number designates your responsibility. If you're a 70, you're a tackle. And a tackle, when people come, you're supposed to do what? Tackle them. If you're 80s, you're an end. And if you're an end, you're supposed to run out and catch the ball. That's what you do. See, numbers. They made it simple because they know football players are not smart. They give you a number and your responsibility. What we lack sometimes is a number and our responsibility. But as a coach, you got to give people a number and tell them what their responsibilities are and then ask them to perform the task that goes with the job. That's what it is. But today what we do is we don't give people a number. We don't give them a responsibility. We don't give them a play sheet. And then we're mad because they don't succeed. Because the play, you didn't give them a play. You didn't give them a number. Get together as a team and be the team leader. And that's what it's about. I know what leadership is about. Here I was, head football coach in a high school. First time I came up against a rough team, we were down by 6 points at halftime. I go in the locker room. My team had never been down by 6 points at a halftime. What do? Do I do like coaches that used to teach me? Do I smack the players upside the head with the clipboard? Do I holler and curse at them like we used to do in football? They did it to you, Lamont. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. No, we don't do that. I was an English teacher, a biology teacher also. So at halftime, I went back into the locker room, and I grabbed the Alka-Seltzer foaming tablet out of my briefcase, waiting for this moment. Put it in my mouth, drank a little water, waited for it to start foaming. Came back out, foam was coming out my mouth. I was trying to talk to people and spit was flying. Kids thought I was having a stroke. They looked at me like, oh, Kilt is going crazy. I stood in the locker room, much as I could talk with spit flying. There's no I in team. There's no I in team. I got louder and louder. There's no I in team. I had a fullback, 6'2", 225 pounds. Boy could run like the wind. We didn't study the effects of concussion back then. So he wasn't my brightest apple, okay? He got beaten up a lot. But he stood up and he looked at me and said, Coach. I said, yes, son. He said, no I in team. Boy, I was so proud. Yeah, I said, yeah. But he said, hey, Coach. He said, is there an I in win? I said, yeah, boy, there's an I in win. He said, well, if you give I the ball, we're going to win. And he was right. Your success of what you do depends on how much you want to do as that leader. Think of yourself anymore as not a team player, but a captain and a team leader. When you step out front, people are going to probably throw stuff at you sometime. That's the way leadership is. And when you turn your back, even your own friends will try to trip you up on the way to the goal line. That's the way life is. But take big steps, take bold ones. Remember, this is something you decide to bite off. We didn't go out and catch you with a net and bring you back and say, this is what you're going to do, okay? This is something you chose to do. So if you chose to be that, be the one who's out in front and communicate with people that you're working with, and that's how you build your team. Ask questions. Ask questions. Ask all the questions that you can. Get people involved. It's not what you know, but it's what they want you to do for them. And when you realize that you're only an instrument, you're only coaching those who want to be players, then that's when you're going to be successful at what you do. So say with me these words here. The best team doesn't win nearly as often as the team that gets along best. Absolutely. Every day is a good day. It just depends on how you look at it. How many of us here have had a really rough time in the last 30 days? Raise your hands. Put them back down. There's quite a few of you. Let me enlighten you a little bit. We went to Africa to do a program, and there was a lady on the dais, and she was speaking, and they were interpreting her language at that time. And she was from some type of small tribe where every year the water level or table level was falling shorter and shorter in the well. And for 3 years it did that. First they saw the crops dry up. Then they're unable to feed the animals, and they saw the animals die. The elderlies in her village started dying because they started giving their food to the youth. So there she was with a decision. Do I leave the only place I've ever known? Take my kids with me? Because I think if I stay here, we're surely all going to die. So she packed the bags, took the kids, whatever they had, told them pack lightly, and headed out across the desert to find someplace, knowing that the next village she might find, they might kill her. They might enslave her children, but it was better than staying there starving and dying. Along the way, one of her children fell in the sand. She kept going. They said, why'd you keep going? She said, because if I had stopped, my other children would have sat down, and I never would have gotten the momentum to get them up going again. She said, I had to keep going to give them the braveness that they needed to keep going. So she found water. She found a village. Fortunate for her, somebody loved and took her in and took care of their family, and she survived. Now, folks, that's a bad day. You having a flat tire, it's not a bad day. You got a car. You know, you hitting a speed bump, that's not a bad day. There's speed bumps that are out there. You know, somebody doesn't like what you do, keep on living. You'll get a lot more people that don't like what you do. You know, you've lost some friends, you're going to lose some more if you live long enough. That's the way life is, folks. So again, we ask that same question to you. How many of you had a real bad day in the last 30 days? And now I don't see any hands at all, because you realize this perspective of what a bad day really is. Like I asked my wife, she says all the time, she said, I don't know what to wear. I said, if you only had one set of clothes in the closet, that'd be an easy decision. You go butt naked or wear what you got in there. But no, because your closet's hanging out with stuff, now you complaining because you got a decision to make. That's stupid. Yeah, I know. But hey, you got to call it like you see it, you know. Sometimes people are going to be mad at you, but that's what it is. But our lives are like that. What perspective do we have? How do we view things? I want everybody with me to look up and have an imaginary clock above your head, just above your head. Look up. Take your finger. Come on with me. Everybody, take your finger. All right. And then go 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Just a small circle. Come on, let's try it again. Ready? Here we go. 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock. You got to hold your finger up in the air, sir. You pointed down here. We don't the circle bigger than that. Now let's do this and turn your finger. Let's make the clock continue to go. Come on, folks, everybody. You got to do this to get the aha moment. Point it up in the air. Turn it around. Which way is your finger rotating? Clockwise, clockwise. Now, without stopping what you're doing, bend your elbow and lower your hand down below your nose. Which way is your finger turning? It changed directions, didn't it? You didn't change directions, but it did. You want to know the answer? Because you die. Huh? It never changed? What? Say that again.
It feels like you're changing, but you're not.
Well, did your finger go in the opposite direction?
No. Didn't? No.
Try it again. All right, lower it down. Lower it down. Keep lowering it. Now look at your finger. Which way is it going? It's going in a circle. Which way is it going? Counterclockwise.
It's going horizontally. It was going I'm with you, mister.
I know. That's you know what, Sebastian, it is, but you're right, because it's hard to figure out, because you haven't changed anything. But what did change is your perspective. Were you looking from the top down, or are you looking from the bottom up? Huh? When we work with people, we're looking from the top down, they're looking from the bottom up. Circle hadn't changed, but how we view it has. Okay? And when we deal with hotels and restaurants, they're looking at it from their viewpoint. We're looking at it from ours. Same viewpoint, different perspective, okay? And so in life, when we're trying to solve problems, we have to understand that maybe somebody's looking at it a little differently because they haven't been able to see it from a different perspective. For the first 20 years of my life as being a professional speaker, being a member of the National Speakers Association, I never put on a conference. I was always invited to conferences. And I used to hear the conference planners complain about certain speakers who would come, and they say, oh, this one just wanted this. They wanted a bottle of water that had to be certain degrees. They wanted a car to pick them up at a certain time, and the car had to be a certain color. They wanted a hotel room with chips, and it couldn't be this kind of chip. It had to be that. And I just hate them. And then they came, and they made me pay $1,000 to put a PowerPoint up, and they didn't only use it for 1 second. Yeah, I'm just mad at them, you know. And I didn't understand why they were so mad at people until I started doing conferences and working with them same kind of people. And I just wanted to shoot some of them off the stage. Say, you made me pay $1,000 for that thing and you ain't going to use it but a minute? What's wrong with you? But there's a fact of it is we were looking at it from two different viewpoints. So what we have to do to ourselves is look at our lives like that. Look at it from the viewpoint of the lady who's having troubles getting where she's going, and say to myself, here we go, say with me, every day is a good day. Today is the best day of my life. Do you realize that sadness gets ingrained in you? It does. Just think about how many times you've been watching television recently, and when the news comes on, your blood pressure goes up. Now, people get caught up in it. And they'll come out, and that's all they want to talk about what was on the news, what somebody said, what somebody's going to be confirmed or not, or what somebody, and I just keep going. I said, you are letting this world alter who you are and your personality. I always consider it like the kid that I talk about that was in elementary school who came from a very dysfunctional family. Mother and father were on drugs addicts, and they cursed and sweared all the time. So when a kid came to school, he didn't know what normal people should do, or people with respect. So he had some learning difficulties, and the teacher was working with him. And finally, he got a passing grade on an exam. And she gave him the test. She said, here, son, you got a B. He was so happy, I got a B. He said, that's a damn good B. And she looked at him, she said, son, you can't curse. He said, what you talking about? See, he didn't know that was a curse word. For him, his parents had always used them as conjunction junction, hooking up phrases and clauses with curse words, okay? And so it became natural to him. Have we become that kind of society that's the woesy me, down and out, everybody's rotten, everybody's lying, everybody's stealing, till anymore you don't believe anything because you've let your level of this society take you down from where your moral values were? Come on, people, we can bring them back up. Let's build back up honesty. Let's build back up integrity. Let's build up saying nice things about people. Let's do the right things that are there. We can do it. We can change it around. But does it stay in your head? Yes, it does. It stays there. Get it out of your head. Watch this. I can tell the age of a group by this. When I was younger, they had advertisements on television. Watch this jingle, and I know some of you remember it. Winston's taste good. You didn't know that one, did you, Sebastian? You couldn't jump in, could you? Huh? Well, the reason you can't jump in is because it was a popular TV commercial that was on TV 38 years ago. See, this old crowd knew it, okay? Yeah. All right, let's try a little bit younger. When I was in Columbus, Ohio, I knew Dave Thomas, the founder of Wendy's, and boy, we had a big hit when I was doing some consulting with him. We had Claire Pella in the back of a limousine, great big hamburger bun, a little tiny hamburger. She said, "Where's the beef?" 29 years ago, we took that off television. All right, so in your business, of course, you probably sing that country western song, right? Take this job and no. Come on, folks. You got me dying up here. I gave you the happy formula. Learn to love your job. Have a good attitude. Get along with people. Develop a sense of pride. Make an investment in yourself. I say, take this job. All of you holler out, shove it. Really, it's take this job and love it. And if you take the job and love it, then you'll be successful. If you take it and shove it, you won't be successful. So say with me these words here. You may live in a sad world, but the sad world doesn't have to live in us. When I first started teaching school, I'm going to make sure that I'm on time. Yeah, good. I first started teaching school. I was a biology teacher of a poor high school. They didn't have the books. They sent me down to the locker room to get the books for the kids. I had to carry a roll of duct tape with me and put books back together. Segregated high school, 1968. Wanted to be this biology. I graduated from college, top of my class, with a dual major. But here I am now on hall duty, bus duty, cafeteria duty, bathroom duty, because I was 6'2", 245 pounds, football player muscles, and that's the duties that I got. I was a rent-a-cop like. How disgusting. I went to my principal and I said, look, man, I can't do this. I graduated top of my class. I want to teach some classes. Give me the biology classes, the upper level. I'll prove you to be right. He said, but you're the football coach. You don't need to do that. He said, we'll give you some easy stuff to do. I said, I want to teach some of the kids. I want to teach them the right way. So there I was. Now, a biology teacher, had my biology class. So I knew that the kids didn't like a lot of biology, especially the young men. So I had to find the formula. I said, I want to do the experiment with the earthworm, cut the earthworm up. Now, I went to my principal and I said, I need some earthworms. Now, he was a good old boy. He said, look, we don't have no money. I told you that. You're on your own. But I do have a formula for you. He said, what we do when we want to go fishing, we go out and put the hose and soak the yard, and earthworms come up and we get earthworms. He said, yeah, we get a flashlight. And he said, that's what you do. And so I went out there and I got my boys, and I had them water down their yards, and we got earthworms. And then, here's the killer. I told them an earthworm was a hermaphrodite. Hermaphrodite that has 2 sex organs. See if you can find them. Well, these boys were crazy. 2 sex organs. Of course, they were looking for normal sex organs. They couldn't find them. But then they were throwing the earthworms on the girls, and the girls were screaming because it was high school. But everybody wanted to be in my biology class. So let's step it up another notch. Wanted to do the muscles. Now, I didn't do the muscles like the previous person did. They did the ham bones connected to the thigh bone, hip bones connected. They did stupid stuff. I knew the names. Sartorius muscle, insertion, tuberosity of the ischium, greater tonsilla patella. If it's severed, you won't be able to lift your leg. I was doing the biology way, okay? But I needed some examples. So the frog leg is exactly like the human leg in content, quads, everything. So I said, man, this would be great. Do some frog legs. I went to my principal and said, I need some frogs so we can do the frog experiment. He said, man, I told you we didn't have any money. But again, he was a good old boy. He said, but I got a couple of farmers that have ponds. Go down with the flashlight at night, stick the flashlight in their eyes. It freezes them. you scoop up the frogs. So I got my boys out of the classroom. We scooped up frogs. We brought the frogs to the classroom. Oh, man, I was living large. The frogs were dead. I pulled one out the water, set the frog on the table, take a 9-volt battery, tap the wires to the legs, and make a dead frog jump across the room. Girls were screaming. Boys loved the class. People were trying to get into my biology class. And I knew I was a winner. I knew I was going to win the trophy as the teacher of the year. But I went too far. Next one I wanted to do the 12 cranial nerves. Old oxen traveling through Arabia found all the grass very acceptable to him. That's the acronym for the 12 cranial nerves, olfactory, trigeminal. So I had that down pat. Kids knew what they were. The experiment was, and if you're in the country, you got a pig fetal. In other places, we did cat anatomy. So I went to my principal. He wasn't in the office that day. I said, I need some cats. Well, I said, hey, he told me how to get the rest of it. So I got the boys. We went out in the neighborhood. I know. They didn't have Peter back then, okay? We gathered up some stray cats, brought them in, and I said, I'm going to do cat anatomy. That's the biology way. So the first cat I pulled out to do the experiment was old black, nasty alley cat. I pulled him out. I put him up on the table. I cut him, and I showed all the muscles, the bones apart. Kids were fantastic. Mr. Alston, nobody that I've ever had as a teacher taught us the way that you're teaching us. Nobody. I was so proud. Next day, reached down there and grabbed out a little white fluffy cat. Oh, you didn't say that about the black cat. We got some diversity training here to do. I know, little Fluffy. And that's what happened. Little girl said, Fluffy! I said, oh, boy. And it started going downhill from there. The principal got calls. Superintendent got calls. They called me and they said, it was Friday at 2 o'clock. The girl fainted because it was her cat. They had to call the emergency squad. Oh, man, it looked like the end of my career. Monday, he said, be in my office. Don't worry about your classes. We'll get substitutes for them. I'm in the superintendent's office. He said, Mr. Alston, why? Because the principal didn't show, okay? He said, why did you ever come up with a stupid idea like that? And I said, you know what, sir? I'm going to tell you this. I said, from my heart, I'm guilty. I did it. This is what I was thinking, and I did it with all my heart. But I'm responsible. Don't look at my principal. He had nothing to do with it because he didn't give me the yes or nay on it. And he looked at me and he said, you know, I've had thousands of people that I've worked with over the years, but I have never had anybody come up and step up and say they were responsible. They always try to blame somebody else. And I said, no, that's not the way it's going to be. I'm responsible. He said, I'll tell you what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to write a note and put it in your file. And we're going to keep it there for the rest of the year. End of the year, we're going to take it out if you don't come up with another stupid idea. But I learned a lot of lessons that day. One was never to do cat anatomy again in my life. I love those little precious animals now. And the other one is to always be honest about what we do. And if you're honest about what you do and you make a mistake, I think the best thing you can do is tell people and look them in the eye and say, I'm sorry. Where do we go from here? And we can solve these problems together. If we learn how to do just that, it's going to be a better place, a better world. We won't have wars. We won't have people fighting against each other. We'll be able to resolve most of our major issues because we will be able to trust people and trust their word and what they do. So my advice to you as this leader is to be the leader. Step out in front. Be that person who is honest with dignity and respect. Do your job each and every day to the best of your ability. Don't try to be better than anybody else. Be your very best. And if you do your job to the best of your ability, there's nothing else that we can ask of you to do. And at night when you lay your head on your pillow, you won't wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning thinking, oh, I should have done this or should have. You did what you were supposed to do. And you'll lay down with rest and a peace of mind. So I'm going to challenge you today and tomorrow as we get to visit and talk to people is to understand what I can do to make my business better, what I can do to make it the best that I can be, no matter where I am. No excuses accepted for failure. We're going to go back and we're going to challenge ourselves each and every day. And when I want you to say the word with me so it's ingrained tonight and tomorrow to be your very best. Say the word best. Say the word best. When I raise my hand, I want you to say the word best. If you can't be a pine on top of a hill, then be a shrub somewhere in this valley, but be the little shrub on the side of a rill. If you can't be a shrub, be a bush. If you can't be a bush, be one single blade of grass, but over by some highway, happier make. If you can't be a muskie, then be a bass. Just be the best bass in the lake. If you can't be our captains, be part of this crew. There's a job out here for each and every one of us to do. Some days you'll have this greater work to do. Some days, some little lesser work to do. But the task that you must do, it's near and it's clear. If you can't be a highway, then just be a trail. Can't be the sun, then be a star. Hey, it isn't by our size that we win nor we fail. No, you must be the absolutely very, must be the very at whatever you are. Thank you so much for having me today. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, man. Thank you, Lamont.
Thank you, Harvey. I bet you were a great teacher. That's a really, really great presentation. Thank you so much.